Hi, everybody. And this is our very first Tent Talk. And I'm so glad we have Jan Albus on with us from St. Louis. And Jan has been with the organization for many years, and she's going to share with us a a program that they put together. And we just thought that this is a great program. I know that there was a conversation, or maybe it was at she was able to share it at one of the conferences a while back ago, but there has been so many changes that's happened within this program that we just thought that this is something that all of you, the tents, would really benefit from knowing what's happening in St. Louis. And if you want to get involved and do this in your own region, this is just something that I think that you all should know. So I'm gonna give it over to Jan. Jan, tell us about the program first. Name, position. Who are you to the organization? So
Sure. Yes, I'm the CEO of Variety St. Louis Tent 4, and so glad to be with you, to actually be your first guest on Coffee Talk. Excellent. I'm very happy about that, and really very happy as well to be talking about variety theater. It's a program that I actually brought forth to the Atlanta conference a couple of years ago, and there was quite a bit of interest, a lot of questions, quite a bit of interest. I think 7 or 8 different tents had said, well, yes, we really need to do this. And then we all went on our ways. But here we are a couple of years later, and I promised myself that if this program got to the 10th year anniversary, that I would definitely dedicate myself to spend more time with anyone who was interested in doing it, to share it. Very important to share these things. I remember when I first started at Variety, I was hired and found out that Variety does a huge telethon, 19-hour telethon. I had never done a telethon. I had no idea how to do a telethon. But a tent up in Buffalo, the Buffalo tent, sent me this huge package of materials and information and notices that if I needed any help whatsoever, let them know. They'd help me to put on that telethon, which of course we did.
That's incredible.
So, same thing with Bikes for Kids. We saw it, we liked it, and all of a sudden Las Vegas was showing us how to do it. So
that's so
great. Yeah, and it's just this thing that's so important about all of us. We're all independent. We aren't told what to do. We look at our regions and we figure out what the kids need, and then we do it. So sharing has been a really important part of how I think variety, the tents should be put upon each other, especially if they have something that they think would be helpful. So yeah. So this particular program.
So let's speaking of Sharon, let's get into this variety theater and tell us about the theater program, and tell us why it is, or share with us why it's so unique.
Well, yes, it is. It is unique. It's very different. It really harkens back a little bit to our roots, which of course is show business. With that little girl, with the note, Catherine Brady Sheridan, about show business people having big hearts and very charitable. So it fits really well with that, this program does, but it's also a big event because it's something that is performed. So what we found is that the mission of this particular program is to give kids with disabilities the opportunity, the access and opportunity to communicate and express themselves in the theater arts platform. So none of that had been done. Over and over, I saw that our variety kids were passed over for school plays and chorus and a lot of things, and yet they had this desire to perform. So so that was back in 2009. We put it together, and each year it has just grown in its success in terms of the kids, and how many service units, how many hours we spend with them, and what they do with it, the impact of it. Very important impact.
So it does. It sounds like it's a wonderful program. And let's kind of rewind a little, because I know I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the program and how it looks today and kind of how it looked in the past. But let's just take it back just a step, because we had COVID. 2020 is a COVID year, and it would be a disservice if we didn't mention that and all of the things that we do. But how did this program, or having COVID and having to do everything Zoom or virtual, how did COVID affect this program?
Well, for about 10 years, we had been moving along through all these big musicals. We love the classic, Broadway musical, because there's always a great message there for the kids. We were picking shows that kids wanted to be in, kids wanted to go see, like the Disney shows, Wizard of Oz, Little Mermaid, all these wonderful big musicals. And so all of a sudden, when it came time to do auditions for the show, we had selected The Music Man. Big, wonderful show.
Yes.
And by the time April came along, April, May, when we usually cast, everything shut down. And so we thought, well, surely by the time we do the show in the fall, everything will be okay.
Yeah, because this was only supposed to be a 3-month, pandemic.
So
a year later.
I know, here we are. So we decided, okay, we'll do the auditions, but we'll do them virtual. We'll accept video auditions. Well, we had 600 of them.
Oh my goodness, amazing.
Yes, because everybody, all the actors, everyone was basically shut down. Nothing else to do. They're all sending in all these videos. But we got through that. We cast the show. And then lo and behold, by the time we got to August, it wasn't looking real good. And everybody had sort of given up hope, on being able to perform, except for the kids. The kids never gave up hope.
Yeah.
So at the announcement of the no-go for The Music Man, we also announced that we would do our own musical, that we would produce a musical and film it and put it out there. And most people thought we were a little bit crazy about that because it was new and uncharted waters. We decided to be somewhat of a trailblazer on that one. And lo and behold, we just found so many wonderful things about doing it. The children loved it, but there were a lot of challenges, nothing in person. Choreographer and musical director had to put things on video, send it out. Then the kids would video themselves on their phones, send it back.
Wow.
Yeah, so no costumes. Of course, you can't fit people in costumes. So no costumes, no sets, no venue. It was one of those things that took a lot of thought. And of course, glad that it came along in the 10th year, not the second or third year of the program.
Yes.
Because it really wasn't anything. It was not, a Broadway musical at all. It gave us the opportunity to really make the show about the kids. It really was their show. 8 really big musical numbers in it, but the interviews and really the core content of the show was about the kids. So that gave our audience, the usual audience, an idea of what they're like off stage, up close and personal. Whereas usually they do see them on stage, of course, because variety theater, it's really about 3 different variety kids. It's, of course, the child on stage. It's also the teen, the variety teen. It's backstage learning all the theater crafts like sound and lights and costumes. And then the third child is the one that's out in the audience looking up there thinking, oh, I see myself. I see a wheelchair, or I see, someone that does have a disability, but is doing this great participation in the show. That gives great confidence to kids, even when they're not up there on stage.
That's so sweet. How were you able to distribute your the theater? I mean, you taped it, recorded. So the child that's sitting in the seats, how were they able to see it?
Well, for the virtual show, this is just going on YouTube. We went public with YouTube, which meant it was worldwide. So we found that there were people in Scotland and Latvia and South Africa, people from the world watching this program and this 1-hour film. So it was really gratifying. It got a lot of raves, which was great because we put a lot of work into it. We really did.
You touched the world. You absolutely touched the world. I
Send
think
it
that's
out there.
amazing. Yeah. So what I want to still kind of stay on this whole virtual because
Yes.
we fingers crossed, we're able to kind of, not have to do this again. But
Who
there's
knows?
really good learning lessons in this whole virtual. And if there's opportunities to do it virtual and, do it live, was there any learning lessons that you learned from this experience?
Well, obviously, there's a big difference in your budget. I mean, there's no
Right.
venue, there's no stage,
Mm-hmm.
costumes,
Mm-hmm.
no sets. And what I also found out because of the pandemic, um, that the professional union, the actors union said, if you turn it into a benefit, where there's actually a call to action for the kids, the actors can perform free. So 13 professional
Ah.
actors raised their hands and said, we want to perform free and be in this. The
Mm-hmm.
musicians union did the same thing because we were showing clips of Mary Poppins and Beauty and the Beast. All those musicians, of course, also belong to a union, and they waived all of their rights. Then Disney Theatricals did the same thing, so that we could use the clips.
Incredible.
All those kind of things just kept rolling and rolling and rolling, and it was so gratifying to see everyone donating to the point where the cost was
Mm-hmm.
so low.
Mm-hmm.
Without those kinds of expenses. So we did not charge to see it. We did ask people to
Mm-hmm.
register. So
Mm-hmm.
we had over 735 registrations. You didn't have to register, but we really kind of wanted to see, who would be interested.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so
That's
yeah,
wonderful.
completely different experience, but we used the theater people. The guy that wrote the show is
Mm-hmm.
usually our assistant director and choreographer, Drew Humphrey.
That's wonderful.
So yeah, and it was all done with a lot of love, a lot of volunteering. So it was a little different twist on what we
Yeah.
typically
Yeah.
are
And
in and do
that's
every
it. You
year.
touched the world. You touched the world. St. Louis touched the world through theater. I think that's
Yeah,
wonderful.
yeah.
Now, so on a regular basis, you have your professional actors, you have your behind the scenes, you're in a theater, you're selling tickets, right? You're selling tickets.
Mhm.
How are you able to get most of this funded? What's the funding cycle look like?
Well, typically with an in-person show,
Mm-hmm.
um, about 70% of it comes from just individuals.
Okay.
The funding. Yeah. Yeah. We have a
Mm-hmm.
lot of patrons, a lot of people that really love, some of them love the children and love anything we cook up to do with them. Some of these people love the arts, they love theater. And oh,
Mm-hmm.
by the way, it's pretty cool that there's these kids that are also performing in this thing.
Mm-hmm.
A couple of years ago, 2018 actually, we won a very big artistic award in St. Louis, the St. Louis Theater Circle Award,
Congratulations.
which is
Yeah.
strictly professional theater, which really surprised us. It was for the body of work for all the 9
Mm-hmm.
years before that we had put all this together. So that was great. But on the other side of it, as far as the children are concerned, the National Endowment of the Arts tells us this is the only program like this in the country. And our chairman of Variety St. Louis said, well, the good part is it's great to be the one and only.
Yeah.
The bad part is we need to share this.
Yes.
There's what, 23 other tents, and we need to share this if they want to do this for the children, with the children. So
42, because we're thinking the worldwide, not just US, but all
yeah,
around the world.
that's
Mhm.
right.
Mhm.
And even when I first introduced it in 2017 in Atlanta, lots of interest. A new tent from Hong Kong, Tel Aviv, New South Wales, Winnipeg. There were a lot of global interest in it. So
Mhm.
yeah. So anyway, I'm here to say that I'm willing to spend a lot of time with anybody who wants to do it. I have rearranged my time in order to do that this time, so I don't have to put it out there and then exit.
Yes, yes, it's
Yeah.
always time, right? It's time on
Yeah.
our hands.
Exactly.
So give us a little bit of a picture. Thank you very much for offering your expertise and your service to help others get theirs up. So just to give them a snapshot here, what does it look like from nuts to bolts? You said you had some auditions in the fall, right? Or is it spring you had auditions?
Right, it's
What
late
is what does
spring.
that look like? There's auditions, there's rehearsals, give us a little snapshot on how that all fits right.
Yeah, we have a couple of really great partnerships. One is with the Webster Conservatory. That's at Webster University here in St. Louis. And 3 or 4 of our designers are from there. They are teaching there, and of course, they're perfect mentors for our kids who want to do theater crafts. So each one of them has a variety team to work with, and also it's important that we use some of their students as well in the production, usually in the adult ensemble, and so we like to catch them before they leave. After that spring semester, before they leave for summer. So we decided to always do our auditions in April or May, first part of May. So there's that.
Mhm.
And then we bring everybody back in the fall.
Mhm.
In September, we do 3 Sundays of rehearsals just with the children to let them bond as a team, to learn the message, how to tell their story and be part of it. And then the big cast comes in October. We do 2 weeks of rehearsals in October. The 3rd week is actually tech with dress rehearsals and things like that. That tech rehearsal and performances, and that's it. So, and those rehearsals are all after school.
Okay.
So,
Okay. And
because
it's a 1-day show, 2-day show, on how?
it's for all of the years except for the last time we did it, 2019. Mary Poppins, we did 2 weekends, 10 shows.
Okay.
Typically, we do 5.
Mhm.
But we
Okay.
kept selling out and kept selling out and kept selling out. So we decided to go ahead and do 2 weekends. And they were sold
Nice.
out. So that was for Mary Poppins in 2019.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah.
So what do you want to tell other tents about this program? Is there anything that we didn't cover here that you can kind of give us some information in the short time we have?
Mhm. I think that the interesting thing about it is that it pays for itself. Basically, as a nonprofit, you're not supposed to have profit. So you spend the money on your programs, and so much of the money that's given for the variety theater is restricted to variety theater. So pretty much, if they give it, I spend it, and it's usually something that's gonna benefit the kids. Sometimes we do a summer theater camp with them, just depending. But the most important thing about it is that it's so multi-purposed. It's an event. You have a lot of people there watching, eyeballs on the stage, on your kids. The our playbills are resplendent with stories about the kids. So it's a way to put forth some awareness about what you're doing. The media is always interested in what we're doing with it. So there's media there. And then, of course, like I said, the funding, the grants. It's not easy to get a National Endowment of the Arts grant, but when you put something, they like things that are innovative. They like things that are maybe a little bit of a risk in terms of getting it started, because nobody knows how well it's going to do or not. So it's that. So yeah, not too many programs that we do for the kids actually make money, and this does. So yeah, the tickets are about 15 to 20, sometimes 25% of the funding. Highly popular, always sold out. And then with that going forth with that, I think a lot of people like to be involved with it, just to say, I really am involved in something unique.
That's wonderful. Putting smiles on kids' faces in a very, very unique program.
Yeah, they love it.
And this has been so wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing. For all the tens, I know you probably already know Jan's email address, but it will be on the bottom of the newsletter where this talk, but just for the purposes, her email address is Jan
Albus, JANALBUS 01@gmail.com, or jan@varietystl.org.
Perfect.
Either
So
one.
yes, reach out to Jan. She's also has a PowerPoint, an updated PowerPoint that she is providing for all of us to review as well. This program sounds like a phenomenal program, and I would love to see it. And I know you would too, Jan, as a vision, see it all around this world. Because again, nobody else has this. Let's start it through Variety. So, Jan, thank you so much for your time. So
You're
glad and a pleasure to be able to meet you virtually. And yeah, this is really great. So we are going to have a lot more of these coffee talks. I feel like a newscaster, but I'm not. We're going to have a lot of these coffee talks. So I'm looking forward to meeting more of our tents and sharing about their wonderful program. Jan, again, thank you for being our very first trailblazer again, our very first coffee talk. And we're going to sign off. Thanks, everybody.
Yes, thanks. Thanks, everyone.